Now this was delayed a couple of hours, mostly because this chapter came out when I just went to bed, so I couldn't review it in time. So I'm very much late with it, but now I finally can do it. Hi for those who are watching. Yes, it is I, the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, to bring you chapter 205 of Shokugeki no Soma. Last time, Irina, although still wielding the proud diva-like posture when she said it, rejected her father's ideal and resigned from the 10th seat. And surprisingly, well, not exactly, I wouldn't exactly say for real that Asami is taking that well. But I was gonna say that he seems to take that relatively calmly, but then again, we know he's not. Because even though he realizes that Irina of all people is rejecting him, then that he sets a special set of conditions for her, saying that you will not be expelled, that will be too soft for you, but you will work for your entire life for Central, and you will never disobey your father again. I gotta say though, that is not exactly what a father is supposed to say to his daughter, but then again, we all know that Asami was a lousy father, and almost a piece of shit father. But given the fact that Shokugeki no Soma is all about character development, is it wrong to say that Asami is gonna go through a character development of his own to realize all of his mistakes? It almost seems to the door that Sai Simon is saying that he wants them to make up, but he also knows that Asami is the one that needs to evolve, change, but who knows. With that said, the Elite 10 all board the train again. It's worth noting that Tsukasa is the only one who looks at them, meaning that whatever he brings, he will bring the spare. And then we are getting to the cover page, which is actually a pretty funny one. The four rebels all brushing their teeth together, each with a different face, so to speak. And after that, well, I gotta say that Irina was incredibly adorable this episode, this chapter, which is very surprising. For a very long, as I said in the last week, for a very long time I disliked Irina because of her hardy way and seemingly never changing, but now she's finally changing. And if there's one character I do love, it's Tsunderes. I don't know, but they are always so adorable when they show them that blushing moment. And she blushes, saying that she must have actually gotten adrenaline in her body when she rejected that. It's also pretty funny that although she has changed, she still is a little bit of an alpha. She's still a little bit of the Ice Queen when she says that we will win this Shokugeki and I will take the seat of the first seat. The power to rule everything as the true queen, I shall take it by my own hands. If that was the old Irina, she would have said that with extreme arrogance and extreme look down. And although she says that now with an extreme confidence too, she does says this with confidence, but it's also a little bit clear now that she will not look down on everything as much as anymore. And of course, Soma is immediately one to jab at her, saying that I will be the one to take the top. And she is as a quiet commoner. As they argue, Jochirou, when Soma asks for help from Jochirou just says that I'm glad you said that, Irina. So yeah, with everything is said, Soma decides to once again be the mysterious character, and he, as I said in many reviews, Soma is a character that will not have two different personalities, but sometimes have different personalities with different places. But again, he is a Shonen Jump here. They are mentioned to have blue and orange-like morality, but there's the fact that he sometimes can be very heartwarming and sometimes not. So he gets back to his train and gives Irina his passports along with the rest of the Megumis and Takumis, saying with a big smile, "Our lives are in your hands, Naikiri," meaning that Erina is the leader of the rebels. After all, she was the one who said to the rebels when they were trying to take this scam of an exam before that follow her. But he does make it clear to Erina that you will not get the first seat. And now I'm gonna mention something. I mean, I have no idea who will lose first, because it's obvious that one of these rebels will lose their first Shokugeki, only to give us a Wolf Effect moment. Not because they're not talented, but only to give us a Wolf Effect moment. So I'm actually wondering who will be that unlucky victim to suffer that first. Speaking logically, it seems it's either gonna be Megumi or Takumi. I mean, if it's Takumi, then that's kind of harsh. After finally recovering from that shocking Shokugeki against Mimisaka, now are you telling me he's gonna lose again? And Megumi, well, I don't want Megumi to lose. Technically, she has lost more than she has actually won, although she hasn't exactly won. The only one we know she won was that off-screen moment against one of the central armies. It's technically the only Shokugeki we know she won. Also, it wouldn't surprise me if she is the first one to fall, but Megumi is my favorite character, damn it. I don't want her to fall first. It is also, I want to say, although it is very unlikely, I would have very much preferred if Megumi is the one who is last standing and wins the final round. Not only because she is my favorite character, because unlike Takumi, unlike Erina, and unlike Soma, she doesn't want to aim for the top. She just wants to cook with heart. That would make it so ironic if it is that person that reaches the top. Not to mention, she is the complete opposite in personality to Tsukasa. But the chapter is not over yet. We are then treated to a little flashback by Dojima Gin. As it turns out that Saisaemon, well, when he's very interested in something, he's a very detailed educator. Even though he cannot see far into the past, he seems to always suspect. So it turns out that it was also Dojima Gin who helped... no. It was Saisaemon that helped Dojima Gin from out of his slump. Because even though he was clear to graduation, Gin greatly blamed himself for Jochirou's condition. And he didn't feel... we all heard the stories that a lot of people wondered why, in the manga at least, why did a man like Dojima Gin, such a very potential cook, just decides to cook for a resort? Well, now we know. Because he rejected all the others simply because he didn't feel like he deserved that. So Saisaemon took a walk with him and said that you are not to blame yourself for Jochirou's feeling discouraged. That is only your pride talking, Dojima Gin. Which is very ironic coming from someone who once said all 99 of you are stepping stones. But but it has been clear in recent chapters that Saisaemon is not a prideful fool. Unlike Azami, although technically he is not a Naikiri by blood, only by marriage. I mean, Saisaemon is a strict man, and one that clearly says to a guy, you have talent, while he ignores the other, but at the same time he does says to everyone via hints, you don't have to have talent, you just must work hard, and if you don't work hard, then you already know you can't win. So that's how he says. And he says something similar here, that you are not to feel discouraged by Jochirou's conditions, because you will not accomplish anything by taking it into yourself. So he asks Gin, will you work for one of Totsuki's resorts? And that was the reason why Dojima Gin became the head chef in Totsuki Resort. Because Saisaemon opened the gate for him. And it's also clear now, especially from this flashback, we didn't only learn about Jochirou's history, we also learned a little bit more about Gin, because everything that Gin said at that hellish training camp is now making even more sense. He said that being a chef is like walking through a wasteland. Anyone who doesn't work hard, we don't need them. And everything that I wish you all a pleasant journey, and also helping Megumi when he felt like it was unjustifying, and saying that I'll know this condition is harsh, but so is life. It is all from his very experience with Jochirou, who also walked through the wasteland, fell to the wasteland, and also got too much didn't get enough encouragement, and dedicated too much to his work. He is basically teaching the new generation to not make the same mistake. He says that Jochirou falling like that was his greatest failure as a friend, but he will do it for the next generations. And so many years later, we also see the mysterious phone call that Gin mentioned in a previous chapter. Turned out that Jochirou just mindly called him, saying that he's back in Japan after a very long time, and that he's now living in a place called Yukihara, although the Hara was static. And then he just hang up on Gin, but not before saying that he was cooking happily again. He was also saying that he has a kid now. So Gin, although still cursing Jochirou for being always the one who was doing everything laid back, he was happy when he heard that Jochirou was cooking again. And then we see that that's also the reason why he says Yukihara. I've heard that name somewhere before. When Jochirou called him, he was said Yukihara. It's just that Ha was silent. So he didn't really hear it. He only heard Yukihara. And with that, with the clue and Soma's personality, that's how he figured out that it was Soma who was Jochirou's son, and also that it was Soma who saved Jochirou from the bottom of the well of the despair, thanking in his mind Soma. That is kind of heartwarming, really. But then again, I don't think it was only Soma was the reason why Jochirou is cooking happily again. No, it must have been that wife of Jochirou. But given from Jochirou's call, it seems that they moved back to Japan when Soma was born. And Soma was just recently born when that happened. And then they opened the restaurant. Yeah, that must have happened. Meaning very likely that the wife of Jochirou actually wasn't Japanese. She must have been something else. Although, with that, all the other exams goes on forward, and 1 month later, we are together at the original Shokugeki island of Ribbon Island, where either the rebels will fall and despair will win, or the Elite 10 will fall and hope will be reborn. And we all know that hope must be reborn. So are you telling me we won't even see a single scene of the Revels training? Don't get me wrong, it is kind of good if we speed up this central battle, because it's going to be a very, very, very long Shokugeki. But at least I hope that when this battle begins, that we see if there were any more recruits to the rebel army. And also, if we're not gonna get their training, then at least get us a little bit of the training in flashbacks. Because it is very clear that this battle, this Shokugeki battle, oh man, I have no idea how long it's going to be. So give me your thoughts if you have any, because I like this chapter.